Nigel Farage gives the impression that he's a man about town, happy to hold up the bar and prop up the bar and talk about, well, only one subject, but variations on that subject, mostly Brexit. And he he gives the impression that he's a person with a sense of humour, but he's also somebody who pursues those who cross him relentlessly. You can think of Carol Cadwalader, who he took legal action against because she alleged a connection between him and Russia. But that same connection is now being alleged today by the Conservative Party, and with a lot of concerns. It's now being investigated in Number 10 itself, and the suggestion is that Reform UK has been infiltrated by Russian bots, presumably from one of the old troll farms. Well, they don't call them troll farms in Russian, they call them troll factories, located in St. Petersburg, and that certainly doesn't surprise me in the slightest. And it might be worth looking. In fact, I will play the little sequence from 2019, I think it was, when Led by Donkeys poked fun at Farage and dropped a screen with Putin. And have a look at it now.
The poison that is being taught to our children. They are being told that the stories of Columbine don't matter. All they're being told are the bad things that we did in our history. And I'm standing up and saying, enough! We should be proud of who we are, where we come from. Think of that up there. Someone at the Columbine Centre needs to get the sack. Are we agreed? We will have them to make sure that that is the case. Go on, put it down.
Rip it down! After we love you, there would be elected. Rip it down! Rip it down!
As you can see, Farage was not at all sympathetic to that joke. He, even Suella Braverman, when she was handed the
to pay tribute to all
award,
of you for your confidence in Fareham.
I
Good
can't
luck
what
to
the
the Betty
award, what
Warren.
the award was called.
My honour to
I know it
launch
had
her.
a word in it which I don't want to use here. But even she seemed to play along. She was a good sport about it. Farage is not at all.
By popular vote.
And he's threatened to sue banks over allegations of financial misconduct or unfair treatment. I happen to agree with him that that's the right thing to do, but he has threatened to do it. He's considered legal action against various anti-Brexit activists for defamation or harassment. He's threatened legal action, of course, against Led by Donkeys. That list is just a snapshot of the various organisations and people that he's pursued, but he seems to apportion blame to others. He doesn't take the blame for himself. So this election campaign, it's always been other people who have been blamed for his misadventures. It's been the fact that he has only just come into the Reform UK to take it over, to become the leader and to become the candidate for Clacton. Well, if he wasn't capable of doing the two jobs, if he wasn't capable of taking control, then he shouldn't have assumed control. He was already the honorary president. He already had some sort of oversight, but clearly not sufficient. He blames the EU for its excessive regulation and for the suppression of British sovereignty. He blames the UK establishment, particularly the Conservatives and Labour, for not respecting the Brexit referendum result, not doing Brexit as he would want it done. But he doesn't participate in the debate, and he stands aside, carping from the wings. He suggested that the UK civil servant is full of people who are resistant to Brexit and have undermined its implementation. He's criticised the BBC for its alleged bias, Channel 4 for its alleged bias, and against his political views. He won't appear on the BBC. I presume he won't appear on Channel 4. He also accuses the wider media of unfair coverage and bias. Remain campaigners, he blames them for trying to overturn the Brexit referendum result. And the judiciary, he criticises court decisions that he perceives as obstructing Brexit. He's a controversial figure. He's a gadfly. And now, of course, he's blamed a series of individual candidates. I don't know them. Even St. Peter couldn't have done that denial so well. I don't know these people. With the case of Andrew Parker the other day, he was first photographed saying, I met him a long time ago, I don't know the man. And then he had to revise his statement and say, I only just met him the other day when he came into the office the day the undercover camera was conducting its affairs. So did he meet Andrew Parker a long time ago, or was it just on the day that campaign was caught out by Channel 4? And it's this sort of dissociation, his ability to dissociate himself from things that go wrong. It's their fault, it's not my fault. I'm sorry about the Cary Grant impression. When I think of Farage, I am afraid I am tempted to think of the impression done by Tony Curtis in the Wilder film Some Like It Hot. Well, that's a very good idea. Well, he wouldn't say that, of course, about what you thought or about what someone else thought. He wouldn't praise your idea. He'd say, it's a really good idea because it's mine. He'd appropriate the idea until it goes wrong and then he'd blame you. Well, that was originally your idea. It's not my idea. It's your fault. You're blocking my view. I think it's a sort of voice that sums him up. Farage just tries very hard to distance himself from anything he doesn't like. And I don't think that's very grown up, and I don't think that's what we want from a potential Prime Minister, is it? But of course, we also saw it with Liz Truss. She did the same thing. What's the comparison between Liz Truss and Farage? I'm not going to suggest that Farage is practicing hand jobs like Liz Truss. I'm sure Farage's hand jobs are perfectly acceptable, but in fact he's got very good hand gestures, very very relaxed, very competent. But his attempt to avoid responsibility, that's out of the same playbook.